We are creating our reality. We can control a little more than we thought we could. Ancient religion, spirituality, philosophy, quantum physics. It all bumps into each other.
Correct.
I had an experience once with my husband, not remote viewing. I was with him. I decided he was in Joshua Tree with friends where they were camping, sleeping out under the stars. I was home and I take a bath and I thought, just focus all your attention on being with Michelle.
You were not on mushrooms.
No, remember me?
That's right.
Too afraid. Really focused my attention. I am with Michelle, but am I forcing it? Because I know he's at Joshua Tree. There was sort of a structure, but he's outside on sort of Adirondack chairs and a fire pit. I thought, okay, so I didn't do it.
Finish the bath.
He comes home. I said, I actually tried to be with you. He said, was that Friday night?
Stop it.
We went to a restaurant. We were sitting outside on Adirondack chairs at a fire pit.
Wow.
And I went, okay, so I did do it.
So you have the ability.
I did it once.
But you have a 100% success rate.
I could be in my bedroom tonight and you might be in my bedroom with me.
But I won't be, I promise.
You like me too much.
I do!
Hi, I'm Mayim Bialik.
And I'm Jonathan Cohen.
And welcome to part 2 of our conversation with Lisa Kudrow, the multi-award-winning actress, star of Friends. She played Phoebe for a decade, as well as so many other things. She is also the star of The Comeback, a series in 3 seasons told over almost 20 years. Turns out she's a huge super fan of Mayim Bialik's Breakdown, reached out to me, slid into my DMs on Instagram, and told me that she's a huge fan and just wanted to talk about her favorite episodes. I asked her if she would come do it in person, and she agreed. It's an incredible conversation. We cannot wait for you to hear part 2 of our conversation with Lisa Kudrow. Break it down.
There's something that I have tried to ask other actors before, and I've been shut down, and it sounds a little crazy, but I really believe it.
Okay.
If I had your experience with a variety of characters that I had had a long relationship with, I believe that those characters would still exist somewhere and that I would visit them sometimes, because I would be like, know them so intimately for so long that in a quiet moment, if I was by myself tidying my bedroom, I could sort of close my eyes and be like, where is this character right now? And like, not only do they exist because like so much of their energy was created, but so many people have a relationship with them. It's like, they can't just be closed off in a box and like discarded. And if I was the person who had the relationship with them as them, it's not like I would be having it would like be like I was having a conversation with a friend in some way.
Right.
And I've tried to ask that question and everyone's like, oh yeah, I just kind of move on with the rest of, my career. But I don't believe that.
Well, I mean, but I do. Do you have the same answer? Like,
Yeah,
do you think about Blossom?
Yeah, like I played a character for 5 years, then I played a character for 9 years,
Yeah.
then I played a character for 3 years.
But if the circumstances arise where you were by yourself, could you close your eyes and bring that character back
Yeah.
in a way and be like, and if you were to have sort of like a curious investigation or like a conversation where you're like, hey, what's been going on? I think that character would sort of speak and be present with you.
Interesting. I mean, look, I might have to bring a character back soon because they're talking about Romeo and Michelle. And I played Michelle Weinberger. I'm 60 something. Okay. So
Do you know where she is?
I've seen a script. So, but that's the
But
story.
I mean, in here, do you know where
No.
she is? Right.
I mean, I do from back then.
yeah.
And I'm trying to rationalize. I mean, there are women in their 60s that still have vocal fry or, sound like a valley girl and
Yeah.
are innocent and try to sound, I guess.
It's interesting because I think also when I brought back Amy for the finale of Young Sheldon, Jim and I were asked to recreate these characters, but not in a sitcom format.
Right.
Meaning it's a single cam.
Right.
That was actually very strange
Yeah.
because my character lived with not just a laugh track. It's not about that.
No, I know what
It
you
lived
mean.
with the energy of hundreds of people. And a lot of the things that all of us would do
Right.
were something we didn't rehearse all week, But when the audience is there and you can ride that laugh and you can get a second laugh and you can give a turn of your body and get like that stuff only exists in this, dynamic of a live performance.
Right.
So it was very strange. And the voice came right back to me and like the posture, right? Like what would Amy be like 15 years later, right? Or whatever it is. But there was something about the rhythm that it's almost like I didn't know how to make her exist
Right.
outside of set up, joke. Tell me, Chuck Lorre, what to do,
Right. No, that I would be plagued with, this is going to be very disappointing. Just because, right. I mean, it's a different energy level. And it's just, I don't know how this is going to work. I'd be very nervous.
Well, and actually
how'd it go? I guess well.
I mean, it went well. And, for me, the fun was also like, what would Amy wear? What would she wear as a grown-up, right? She's not going to wear exactly the same thing, but, we still kept with a pencil skirt. It was like a sensible loafer instead of an orthopedic shoe.
Yeah.
And the jewelry I chose a single pearl hanging because I thought that's what Sheldon would buy her. That if she said, buy me something nice, he'd be like, one pearl, right? Like,
right.
It just seemed
well, there
like,
was also a tiara.
right. That's true.
We've
talked about Don Rio, who created Blossom. We wanted to reboot Blossom not as a sitcom. We wanted to bring it back as a single cam. And not to say like it's a drama, but to say,
well,
what would it look like when someone grows up, right?
Very different energy.
And life is not always a sitcom. There's not always a laugh track to what happens in your life. And we thought that would be this really interesting way also for women of a certain generation to say, yeah, what's it like when you're out of junior high and high school? We have been told there is not interest for that character, not in a sitcom format. And I thought, what an interesting statement. And of course, I have to make it philosophical. What are we being told, right? What are we being told as women, right? This is how we want you. We want you perky and dancing and smiling and fun. And we have a harder time wrapping our head around what happens, when cute kids grow up, right? When we all grow up, like what is this next phase of life like? And it almost feels like this strange irony. That's something I wanted to do creatively.
Mm-hmm.
I can't because the exact reason that I want to do it, right?
Well, but it might be an interesting movie or, as I call those, a one-off.
That's what we've talked about.
I don't think it's women and don't want to see women. I think it's don't want to unravel a happy ending because you would have to. If you're now going to explore
real life.
There's a fantasy about when something's over, like, oh, good. So hopefully everything just went well. Just like end of everything.
That's a perfect setup for, can you talk about the comeback?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Can you talk about something that is
God,
spanning?
I'm never leaving.
Never.
What if, and we'll order lunch.
Whatever you need.
Then we'll go into dinner.
No, but I wonder if you can talk about, creating something that is spanning not just time, but phases of your life.
Yeah. Because the comeback started right after Friends. Friends wrapped January 2004. We shot the pilot November 2004, which meant Michael and I were writing it in the fall. So, and that was the beginning of reality TV. There were no housewives yet. There was Survivor, there was Amazing Race, and those shows to me were the end of civilization. I thought, these people are signing up, I think, because they just want to be seen and get attention or be famous. The six of us, me and five others, went through that, and that was hard. And we had each other, to try to ground us and support with that. I don't know if they know what they're in for. It's not good. Also, Survivor, that ending, they all voted the most despicable guy for being despicable, made him a good player and got the reward.
Sounds like capitalism to me.
Well, I don't, but I mean, historically, this country has always been merit-based, and if you can be decent about it, you win the prize. And that woman was decent about it and that was the most depressing thing I'd ever
Yeah.
seen.
It was a real shift.
Kind of a signal of what was to come.
What was to come?
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't ask for all this.
Yes, we
No,
did.
but that's
Okay.
a great framing though.
Yeah. And then Amazing Race, first season. And there's a married couple, and the challenge was eat spicy soup. It's so spicy that they're vomiting. They can't choke it down. So there's a bucket next to them. And it's the first time I had ever seen people crying, choking, and vomiting while the husband is screaming at her, get it down so we can move on.
And this is entertainment now.
And that's entertainment. So to me also, it was, oh, this is the end. This is terrible.
It's only divulged from there. That was the high point.
But no, because there were guidelines then. Unions weren't involved. There was no duty of care, if that's what that is called. So yeah, I mean, but anyway, and there were no housewives yet who seemed to have a plan and knew what they were doing. I guess they do. I think they do. Anyway, so I just thought this is something. This is something to do. And the only way you don't feel devastated for this person is make her an actress who's going to be on a sitcom. But the studio, and Michael Patrick King and I then worked out, and the studio is so panicked, they're hedging their bets. They'll do a sitcom, but let's have a companion reality show to go with it. And this actress who has tunnel vision about like, just, this is great, another opportunity, going to be back in the spotlight. Okay, here we go. You know, she's just, that's all. It's sort of like a narrow focus. And not seeing that the producer, played by Laura Silverman phenomenally well, is there to manipulate her and get footage and just try to make it the best entertainment show. Yeah. And then you have the showrunner, played by Lance Barber, who played the father of young Sheldon. And that's why I'm here. And he is so abusive and punishing and in pain because he wrote a show about 4 sexy single women in their 40s that the network said, make it more like Friends. Okay. So they do, but you got to keep the 40-year-old woman somehow because that's the reality show we need. Figure it out. So yes, of course, his head is going to explode. And the other writers in our writer's room knew that abusive showrunners were in abundance. Okay. I was not drawing on Friends. I have to say this because it keeps coming up.
Sure.
It was so close to when I finished. If anything, the only thing that was like about Friends to me was Juna and Valerie, the young, beautiful actress, and that there wasn't really competition, you know, and that she was sweet. The only person who was really sweet to Valerie was that person. Because that was my experience on our show. I swear to God, we really loved each other. So yeah. And I didn't really know about, there was a lawsuit with the Friends from writer's assistant. And I didn't know the details. I just knew that there was one and I wasn't sure. And at the time, I honestly thought, yeah, that's a writer's room, you know?
Yeah, the lawsuit, just to frame it a little bit, there was a lawsuit regarding language and behavior in a writer's room, which unfortunately was ruled, it went to the Supreme Court, was ruled, you know, par for the course, essentially, for that job.
The state, maybe state,
that's what I meant.
Supreme
Yeah,
Court.
sorry.
Yeah, that, you know, well, that's what it is. And that is how we felt like, okay, just looking at the world, here are the rules of engagement, and this is what society is. So this is what you have to work with, and it's hard to navigate. Okay.
My Bialik's Breakdown is supported by Shopify.
How many times have you heard, now's the best time to start your business, but also it's summer and that feels like the most overwhelming time of all? We get it. It felt completely overwhelming when we got our podcast off the ground, but it turned out to be a great decision. And the next great decision we made was to use Shopify for our merch. Their expertise, easy to use platform, and so many helpful tools makes the process simple and stress-free. Making that leap is possible when you've got a partner like Shopify on your side to help. Shopify will simplify your checkout process so more customers finish their purchase. Or if they need more time, when they come back, their details are saved. One tap and they're done. Shopify handles the setup and checkout, so you've got more time to focus on growing your business. And you don't want to spend your time fixing mistakes. You want to be spending your time in the sun, enjoying those precious summer moments with the people that you love. Shopify powers millions of businesses worldwide, from household names like Gymshark and Mattel to small businesses just getting started to our podcast. With Shopify, nothing stands between your idea and a real business, so go make it one. If you're ready to stop putting off your business and start hearing, then you're ready for Shopify. Start your free trial at shopify.com/breakdown today.
That's shopify.com/breakdown.
You heard that right. Start your free trial today at shopify.com/breakdown.
Bialik's Breakdown is supported by Elastique, where science meets style in wearable wellness.
Elastique Athletics is designed for daily life, travel ready, workout optional, and beauty enhancing. Elastique fits into your routine with zero extra effort. Their chic sculpting designs provide therapeutic compression while still keeping you looking stylish. Elastique Athletics creates fashion-forward compression wear engineered to enhance circulation, reduce swelling, and support lymphatic flow effortlessly. Rooted in science and trusted by wellness professionals, their patented micro-pearl technology blends proven results with premium design, making Elastique the go-to brand for wellness that works while you wear it. Endorsed by physical therapists, lymphatic specialists, and featured in Vogue, Oprah Daily, and Goop, Elastique Athletics are perfect for post-workout recovery, post-surgery recovery, travel, swelling, fatigue, and sluggish circulation. Their micropearl technology is clinically tested to support lymphatic flow, reduce inflammation, and visibly improve skin texture. It's fashion-forward compression that doesn't look like compression. Feel the difference in circulation, recovery, and skin smoothness in just one wear. Go to the link in the show notes and use the code Mayim50 for $50 off your Elastique order. That's MAYIM50 for $50 off your Elastique order.
Bialik's Breakdown is supported by Superpower.
We all know what it's like to leave a doctor's appointment feeling like you are leaving with more questions than answers. There's no real data, there's no game plan. This has happened to me so many times, especially when I was starting my perimenopause journey, and that's why we love Superpower. Their one simple blood draw gives you information on over 100 of your blood biomarkers. Superpower sends a licensed professional to your home. You can also visit a nearby lab to unlock a real understanding of your body and what's going on in it. The Superpower app includes detailed information on your heart, liver, thyroid, hormones, metabolism, vitamin and mineral levels, even environmental toxins. So from disease prevention to simply optimizing your gym game, Superpower is the most comprehensive and advanced system out there. Superpower also tracks your results over your lifetime. Each test builds on the last, so you can see progress year after year. Superpower helps you connect the dots and understand long-term trends in your health data and take action on them. Stop reacting to health problems and start proactively improving your health based on real personalized data. Superpower is the most affordable 100-plus biomarker blood test starting at $199, and it's HSA FSA eligible. Unlock your new health intelligence. Make this the year you stop guessing about your health with Superpower. For a limited time, our listeners get $20 off to unlock their new health intelligence. Head over to superpower.com. Use code BREAK for $20 off your $199 Superpower membership.
After you sign up, they'll ask you how you heard about Superpower. Tell them Bialik's Breakdown sent you to support the show.
I was on Big Bang when MeToo happened, so there was a tremendous amount of conversation then.
Boy,
It's
yes, there
fascinating.
would be.
Yeah, meaning we had to reckon with these things.
Yes.
Yeah, but anyway, go ahead.
Right. Well, I think, thank God, because ultimately people had to treat people with respect in a workplace. So that part's great. Sorry about the fallout from other things, that everything got really sensitive and almost impossible.
Yep.
But it's a time capsule of how much abuse, discomfort. And we deliberately had Valerie just determined to get what she wants. So she would speak up and say, that joke might be offensive. You're saying Korean barbecue. Don't think the audience is going to like it. You see a basket of puppies. I see Korean barbecue. So, and she's saying, you're not going to like it. And Jim Burrows plays Jim Burrows, the director. And he says, you can't tell a bunch of 30-year-old writers that their joke's not going to work. Let the audience tell them. And at the time, he's right. What's wrong with her? Doesn't she know to keep her mouth shut? And that was our joke. And
You were ahead of your time, though.
We were kind of just reporting what was. There was no laugh track. There's no music to tell you,
How to
this
feel.
part's funny. This part is serious. We weren't doing that. So it just became sort of a time capsule of this is how it was, and ended up making people feel really bad watching it, really uncomfortable. It was cringe, which shocked me. I didn't know why. Until later, Bill Maher was commenting, someone made a joke about someone, and it wasn't fair because the person was disabled. And, you can't make fun of a victim. And I went, oh, women are victims? Is that what happened? Because women are still victims? Oh, that's depressing. I thought we were all the same. Shoot. Yeah.
Can you also talk about what it's like to do 3 seasons this many years apart? Because I don't know that I've ever known a show to do this and to do it so well.
Thank you. What's fantastic is 10 years later, when we're asked to do season 2, because we got canceled right immediately. It made someone at HBO really uncomfortable. But it's a different time. The TV landscape is completely different. There aren't as many 22 episodes of a multi-camera show. It's single camera dramedy, comedy, because the concept is funny, but there are no jokes. And so we're putting it in that setting. And by the way, the number of writers you need just got cut in half, because you don't need 12 to 15 writers in a writer's room for 22 episodes. This is 13 episodes. And then we have our Valerie, this time we're looking at her marriage. And this reality, she's back on this now. It's a doc series going to be, or a doc that Jane's doing. And she's on an HBO show, so it's very meta.
Yeah.
And this time we have her confronted with actual personal. Her hairdresser, who's her big support and closest thing to family next to her husband, has cancer, and he's sick. And she's at the Emmys. That's how that one ends. She's at the Emmys, which is everything to her. She gets nominated for an Emmy. Come on. And he can't go because he wasn't feeling well. And she's kind of separated from her husband right now. They had a big fight. And she sees, she gets a text that her Mickey, it collapsed and is in the hospital. And she's sitting there at the theater, and she can't sit there. She said, let me just go call and see if I can find out. And she leaves the cameras. That's the first time we're seeing Valerie without reality cameras on her. She leaves the cameras and realizes she can't go back in that theater because she can't not know what's going on with him. She just can't, and goes to the hospital. And it felt to people like, oh, like Pinocchio became a real boy. She became an actual human. So third season, and it's daunting to do this third season because people thought that was the best ending for the thing. Like, oh, okay.
There's more.
Shit. Okay, well, figure it out. But Michael Patrick King said, okay, we couldn't think of anything. I don't know what would be big enough. Now it's like an event. It has to be. And Michael said she gets the lead in a multicam, her favorite thing, which is great, but it's the first one written by AI. And went, perfect. That's exactly the meat grinder she would throw herself into. And
that's hilarious.
It's good. And we had to do some research and talk to people, keeping it just to entertainment for the most part, keeping it to writing. Because, could easily happen.
So I've heard.
It could, commercials are probably, especially non-union commercials, you know, the things I'm sure are being done. And it's Valerie. So she's not looking at the big picture. What does this mean for humanity? She is just against it at first because the writers are going to hate me. That's what that whole strike was about. And her husband, who's, you know, a business guy, he's like a finance guy. Well, it was about a little more than that. It was about streaming. She's like, no, I was there. I know. Spent a day with them on the line. And, you know, that's the villain. AI's the villain. So I can't have a meeting about, you know, a show like this. And then she realizes, well, I better, because she just did a film she thought was going to be, it was a terrible experience on an indie film. It's like, all right, someone's offering me something, so let's go at least see. And the head of the studio, played by Andrew Scott, no, he's the best actor alive, I would say, right now. He lets her know, oh no, we have writers. Doesn't tell her as beards. Have to have writers. Yeah. And it's okay with, and you know, Valerie's just looking for, it's okay. Like someone's giving her permission. Good, done. But because the writers are beards, they're not going to participate in the writing. Jim Burrows agrees to direct. He just wants to see what this thing is. Okay. And the end, he wants to see what this is. And then says, yeah, it's never going to be great. They're not engaged. Too bad. Good part for you. And it's also, yeah, an AI picked her to do it. So, yeah, so there are practical issues with AI. It still hallucinates. So there's that. And she's realizing, one, reluctantly, she's now the only one in charge, and who cares? Number two, she realizes we need a human writer. We need 2 or 3 human writers, because yes, it might be fast and spit out a bunch of jokes, but you still need the human to decide which joke is going to be good. And then if anything goes wrong as it goes along, there's a studio paywall.
Wow.
That it hits, because they're doing too much with AI. And so, yeah, now you only get to use this much of it. So we need a human writer, and no one will listen. And so it becomes about, like, that's the message. It's not pro AI. It's not anti, you know.
It's the reality, though, of what we're dealing with.
That's what we meant it to be.
I think in each of the seasons, as you're describing them,
Right.
that you've been able to touch on what's in the zeitgeist. Where are we?
It's a time capsule.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, but every show, it turns out, is a time capsule.
I just don't know that there's ever been a show that has had the ability to touch time in such a unique way because of how spaced out the seasons are, which is
Right.
unbelievable.
It's very,
So
yeah.
it's a time capsule for the television landscape.
Yeah.
And then what we also wanted to do was show that the Valerie that you felt so badly for, saw her as a victim or some witless victim, isn't. She was creating her own reality the entire time. That's how she was able to keep going. And it looked delusional, or she's in denial. And what's the difference between that and coping?
Yeah.
Unless you're headed for something very dangerous, actually physically dangerous. But what's the difference? Doesn't matter.
There's also a through line both in the comeback and in your experience on Friends and through many of these episodes about the creation of our own reality, right? It's like
Right.
when you talked about your comeback character, you know, maybe describe the end and that end scene that you shared with us at the beginning, because there's a reframing of
Yes.
what everyone else's expectations are, right? Even with your son, if you had said, well, the doctor knows better than me, and so I'm going to just accept whatever they say, that is a frame of your reality.
And let me be fair, though, with my son, there were moments where I went, okay, shit, I guess. Oh, my God. Watched Rain Man and went, is that what's going to happen? No. And it wasn't. But, you know, sure.
Yeah, but taking even what she said and then just being able to evaluate it with a
Yes.
grain of salt versus
Right.
this is what I have to do.
But I think it's important for people to know that even if you are pretty clear on something, it's not every second and every minute.
For sure.
It's just that luckily the doubt is momentary. So don't feel too bad.
Or that there's another
About
way
the
of
doubt.
seeing something,
Yeah.
even getting fired from Frasier, you can see that in one particular way, or you can start to say, wait, there may be more information. And I think all the podcasts are like, maybe there's just more here than we're actually
Yes.
realizing.
After something unpleasant happens, right? And then it turns out okay. Just remember it turns out okay is the thing that you don't need to fret, butcher yourself too much. You don't need to suffer too much. It's gonna be okay. And I don't know. Again, here I go again. This might be really stupid, but even you embark on some creative endeavor, that maybe I'm not paying enough attention to this aspect of it, or going over the script with a fine-tooth comb. Sometimes you're compelled to, sometimes you're not, sometimes it doesn't work out, sometimes it doesn't. Thank God when it hasn't worked out, I have to say. And how nice when things did work out. Like just trusting it's okay. Like you'll know when you need to put the effort in there. You'll know when you need to put the effort in there.
So God has two answers, yes, and not now. I've got something better.
The thing that struck me the most with truth was, I think it was like James Glatfelder. Oh
Yes.
my God, I love him.
Yes. That was an
watched him
amazing,
speak
that was
on
an amazing conversation.
Other things, talking about, ancient religion, spirituality, philosophy, it all bumps into each, and then quantum physics, it all
Yeah.
bumps into each other. And it reminded me, in Judaism, there's no word for God. There's no Hashem. You can say, there's no name because it's nameless, which sounds a lot like a field of information. Also, a lot of times it's translated to all that is, all that was, all that ever will be. Holy cow.
I've brought that up. I've said that.
You have?
Yeah, I've talked about it, that the fact that one of the most common names for God in the, that we use in like the Old Testament, you can't pronounce it.
Right.
You're not allowed to pronounce it.
Right.
And so even the initials, you have to like break them up, or when you write it, we don't write it. And it's an acronym for was, is, and will be.
Oh.
And that like this notion that even when you try and understand something that's bigger than you can't pin it down, which is a lot like a particle and its wave function, right?
Yes.
You cannot pin it down.
I'm saying yes, which I understand
No,
a
but
little
like
better
until
now
the
after
but
you
the
don't
collapse of the wave function gives you 1 point. But the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, you can't know the location and the speed of an object. Like that to me, like that's divine. And when people would say, how are you a person of faith and a person of God? I'm like, look at the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Is there anything more incredible than you can't know
Right.
something when you try and pin it down, unless you let the wave function collapse?
One's belief in or faith isn't in the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, and Lot.
The other thing from the Gladfelder interview that has stuck with me and we sort of reviewed as we were prepping for this conversation is his notion that the crisis of meaning that so many people are facing, the solution to that is actually in reenchantment. And this idea of reenchantment actually, I think, connects back to childhood, to the
Play.
to play,
Mhm.
to creativity, to recognizing that there are many ways towards an end goal. It doesn't
Yes.
have to be so serious. And again, I'm not saying we don't have to work hard. We do. But sometimes being able to just be relaxed enough to notice the things around us, to be amazed, has such an empowering and magical influence on us.
Yeah.
And we realized that, Dr. Ellen Langer,
Loved.
she actually has the
That.
same idea, right?
Yeah,
Redefining mindfulness as being aware and noticing
literally.
the little moments of aha that we can get by simply like, I never noticed something in my yard before, on my walk before. That had the impact on our physiology is very similar to what Gladfelder is talking about in terms of reenchantment.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and Ellen Langer literally proved your physiology will change from your perception of your surroundings.
Yes.
And that, I mean, she's one of the strongest cases. And this was in the 70s, also for a woman at that time, right? To
Yeah.
be doing this kind of research. One of the experiments was the chambermaids, which is what we used to call people who worked in hotels
Oh,
and
right.
changed the sheets and stuff.
Yeah.
And they did an experiment with these chambermaids where they had half of them as a control group where they just changed the beds and did the things, and they had to weigh themselves and see how much they weighed. And the others, they said, guess what? The work that you do as a chambermaid, it's basically exercise.
Right.
Because you're like putting the sheets, and that's like doing a squat when
And
you
you're
do that.
carrying
And
things.
you're carrying things. And those women, from doing nothing more than their job when they were told it was exercise, actually lost weight.
Yeah.
And it was statistically significant. It was published in like a peer-reviewed journal and blah, 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 all the things. But she also did this study where they brought, I believe, older men, right, in their 80s
Yeah.
to a setting where they made it look like basically
They brought them to a hotel.
and they
Yes.
designed it like it was 30 years prior. I
Right.
think it was. The music, the food, like everything, the
The
style,
art,
the movies, the art.
TV,
And they, I mean, all their physiological markers for blood pressure, like all these things, weight,
Eyesight.
fitness,
Improved.
everything improved. It's
Right.
unbelievable.
Alex Graham, who created Who Do You Think You Are, did that
Oh,
as a show.
wow.
I
And
didn't know
I
that.
think it was a one-off.
To
Well,
look
he
that
also
up.
did Colonial House. And
Yeah.
those were fantastic
That's really interesting.
experiments. I mean,
Oh,
or
yeah.
things, But yeah, he first told me about that because he said, "Yeah, we're doing a really interesting
That's
show."
incredible.
And
I
said,
didn't know that.
and on our show too, you could see big
Wow.
there was improvement. Yeah, like he documented
That's
his
amazing.
version of that study.
That's
I guess.
amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, that opens just like this rabbit hole, right? Like, what is the intention that we bring to everything that we're doing?
yes,
If we have that self-consciousness, if we're terrified of speaking up, what is that going to do
Right.
to our physiology? What does that do to our ideas? How open and creative can we be?
right, yes, exactly. I mean, I don't know what to say other than it's true.
I'm telling myself that podcast is great exercise.
Well, it is. I mean, and I'm telling myself that, I can have some chips if I'm so busy. And then guess what? I can. And I haven't gained weight. And if I tell myself, oh, you've eaten a lot of chocolate today, but I'm so happy, but I've eaten a lot of chocolate today, and 2 pounds more on a scale.
That's right.
And like 2 pounds, I didn't even eat 2 pounds of chocolate. How did that happen? It's true.
Yeah.
All that stuff. We are creating our reality, and physically too.
Yeah.
And I mean, people have always, it's kind of annoying when my husband used to say, because he's always been like what we're talking about. Okay. He's always been aware that we can control a little more than we thought we could. And there's impact, and thoughts have impact, and all that. And he would say, if I got sick, why do you want to get sick? And I would want to punch him.
When you're sick, no
Yeah.
one wants to hear that, right?
And the worst is, why did you want to get cancer? He didn't say that. He didn't say that, but
Yes.
that's the thought that no one dare say. That is the most punishing thing. And so what I say is, it's not that you wanted it. It's just what had to happen. That's all. And he's always said, and I never believed him. I thought it was so stupid. When it's your time, it's your time. And I've come to honestly believe that.
Do you mean in life or in death?
Both. All of it. All of it. I mean, when it's your time to figure it out, you'll figure it out. If there's something you need to do, or you need to wake up from something, or release yourself from something you've been punishing yourself over. When it's your time to do it, you do it or you don't. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
It's a very peaceful perspective. It really is.
It is. I try to remind myself of that. But here's I have 2 questions.
I was going to say, do you have any questions for us
But
before we say
yes.
goodbye?
Don't. Oh, well, you should. At some point, you might have something else to do.
I have nothing. I'm just exercising through the podcast.
Me neither. Okay, where do I start? Okay, you're a Reiki practitioner.
I am.
How and when did you start that?
So this is, look,
No? What?
Yes.
Yes.
It's a great
yes,
question.
and what has been amazing about this conversation for me is your openness about feeling uncomfortable about specific questions. And Reiki has been one of those topics that I've always been almost ashamed to talk about, because there are so many different versions of it. And when I was growing up, it was this like weird thing that wasn't publicized or talked about. And like when I tried to explain it to people, they were like, this again is almost 25 years ago
Oh,
in,
Suburban
very
Toronto.
suburban,
yes.
not overly open Toronto.
Right.
And people are like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, this is so weird and strange. And
What happened to you?
Yeah,
You were so
exactly.
smart and promising.
Yeah. And it was like weird. And, anyway, so the short version of how that happened was it was family tragedy. My sister had extreme health problems from the time she was very young. At like 11, she had back surgery. She had a ski accident, a water ski accident, and her level of physical pain after that far surpassed the actual accident itself. And over the years, she had fibromyalgia. She couldn't walk up and down the stairs. For a while, my brother, like when she came down for dinner, she would like come down on her butt and like scooting down the stairs, and then he would have to piggyback her back up the stairs. And she was very sick and saw every different type of specialist. At the same time, she's 6 years older than me. My brother is 3 years older than me. My brother was injured in a car accident and left with a traumatic brain injury. And at that point,
God.
He was in a coma. It
was
was
in a
a
coma
very
and-
extensive injury. Yeah.
very extensive injury.
It was your desire to see your brother heal in a way that doctors were basically saying, we don't necessarily know if he's ever going to walk, talk, communicate.
Yes, and that was a little bit past, but sort of the way I got to Reiki was that I saw my sister have a drastic transformation in her health after it cratered after my brother's accident. So like the stress and the family stress of my brother being in the hospital only made her physical condition worse. So like there was these
Whoa.
parallel tracks of
Yeah.
two injuries.
Oof.
And years after my brother's accident, my sister dropped out of business school and like started changing her life and worked at a health food store and started doing yoga and started basically looking at all the psychosomatic stress aspects of her disease, and eventually started to get out of a wheelchair and be able to walk, and ended up backpacking around the world. And she caveats that story by saying that she walked cautiously. She wasn't
Mhm.
like running up mountains, but like her body was strong enough to be
Yeah.
able to do that. And so one day she's at the kitchen table while my parents are away, and it's like where I'm throwing parties as I do, and I'm 17 years old, and I go and reach into the toaster because I've made myself a snack, and I singe 3 fingers on my right hand on the toaster oven grill. I go to put them under cold water, and she's like, "Why don't you let me cup your hands for you?" And I don't know what Reiki is at this time, but I see the blisters starting to form on my hands, and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Just sit down." So she puts my fingers in her hands, and I'm like joking with her because we knew she was up to something. Well, she was a vegetarian, and we thought that was crazy.
Right.
And we didn't know what yoga was. And I'm like, "Do I have to chant? What do I have to do?" She's like, "Just sit there and be quiet." And I could feel my fingers pulsing and throbbing. And 10 minutes later, the blisters were almost gone. And I was like, "Well, that's pretty cool. Like, how did you do that?"
Right.
And she's like, "Well, she tells me it's Reiki." And I'm like, "Cool."
But is there an intention she has while she's cupping? Or I know now I'm asking you to explain Reiki.
Well, I can explain
Yeah.
Reiki, which is, and I think this is true with all different forms of energy healing. You're kind of tapping into that universal access, and you become a channel for it, and it just
Right.
flows freely through you
Heard him talk
into.
about that on an early podcast and that's how it can be remote.
It can be
even, but
remote.
keep
That's the
going.
idea.
Yeah.
So that's why it's pulsing, and the body then is, the recipient is basically doing what it's the natural function of the body, which is to expedite whatever healing process it is.
But that's a big idea.
It's a really big idea. It's like, well, if you take away the limits of whatever the issues are, then it has its, our natural want is to sort of come back to some form of equilibrium.
I don't mean to be a party pooper, but the pulsing may have also been from the injury and not necessarily the Reiki, but I'm not supposed to say that.
But
Yes, that's true.
but
I'm just saying.
you've never felt pulsing?
I've-
You've never felt waves being
Yeah.
exchanged?
Yeah, but I'm saying
Yeah.
in this
Between-
case, we can't necessarily say Reiki caused those sensations that he was feeling, because it could have been that he'd singed his hands and that was the throbbing.
It could have been.
And the scientist in the room will say that this is an anecdotal account. The blisters may not have been as extreme as I remember them. I remember them extreme. I remember them being decreased after that happened. What was the mechanism? All I know is that a week later, I'm in a basement of the woman who taught my sister, because there happened to be a class,
And he's a teenager.
and I'm a teenager, and,
Yes.
and it was a level 1 Reiki class, and I had to agree to finish the class if my parents agreed to pay for me to go, because I had a history of signing up for things and then dropping out. And I thought I was going to learn some sort of secret spell that I could say that would create miraculous healing.
Aw,
And it turned out that that is not the case at all.
God bless you.
Yeah, that's what I thought
That's
at
so-
17.
Oh,
And I'm like sitting there being like, they're talking about energy and this and clearing yourself. And this is so slow and boring. And this woman talks a lot. And it was a 4-day class. And on the final day, I'm doing, and you receive and you give sessions as a practitioner, learning how to do this. And on the 4th day, I'm treating a woman who's lying on a table, and my hands are over her head. And there's this pulsing in my hand that I don't understand. And it's extremely strong, and it's kind of undeniable, and my hand is sweating and pulsing. And I'm like, maybe this is what, for the last 4 days, this woman is talking about energy. And I'm like, that's weird. How does that happen? Because if everything she just described about, this system of healing and this energy flowing through us and the body doing the thing, and I'm like, well, that isn't explained in anything that I've grown up understanding. And so I left that weekend, and I was just extremely curious. And for the next 4 years, I just did as much of it as humanly possible.
that's starting at 17.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay. Oh, you started that early.
And I became an assistant to her, and I started pretty much twice a month was assisting classes that she was teaching. And I just saw all of these people. Some of the classes were 20 people, some of them were smaller, and then you have like multiple tables of these people who were like, they're lying down, and all of a sudden there is something that emerges from them that is usually highly emotional, highly cathartic, screaming, crying, sweating, pain that starts and then dissipates. And all of a sudden you're like starting to map that everyone is holding something that you would otherwise not know. And your hands can have an intelligence to sort of go to those places and find those things. And then you start to incorporate, well, distance is also possible. You can tap into the same stuff from a distance.
Yeah.
And as you start to work on people, you can also start to like, the things that they're carrying emotionally in their body are also available in the field around them.
Right.
And so, then it's like starts to get wormhole-y, where you're like, well, what is this information? Where is it coming from? And who's providing it? And then it's really hard to go to high school parties and like talk about things that are, not that.
Yes, that would be hard. Also, I mean, like you were saying, going to certain venues and it's hard. And
Oh,
for
yeah.
me, I can't go to concerts. I never could. And I mean, one part is the emotions are going to get it's too much. Everyone's just going to get worked up. And oh my God.
You can feel that.
Yeah, too much.
Yeah.
Also too loud.
Yeah.
And then where are the exits? Because then something happens, everyone panics,
Yeah.
trampled.
Yeah.
That's from forever.
Was this your experience? Like for me, it's lovely to be nominated for Emmys, but it terrified me. Oh, wait, do you have this experience?
Mhm.
Mhm. And I was like supposed to be happy, and everyone was like, that's amazing. And every time it happened, I was like, uh-huh.
Because now I have to
Now
go.
I have to go.
It's too many
I
crowds.
have to get dressed, and I have to pick
Oh,
a
get
thing,
dressed.
and
Forget it. I don't know how to dress.
yeah,
I mean, if someone dresses me, okay. Yeah. Yes. But I've somehow figured out some of that. Like that's now a little easier,
yeah.
but a party, I can only do a couple.
No, I can't drink anymore. That was how I was able to at least get through a party, like just like a little
Oh,
liquid
right.
courage.
Right.
You know, like
Right.
after a glass and a half of white wine, I'm delightful. You know, like I could manage it.
Yeah.
It's still not like I won't be
Fine.
staying late.
Yeah.
But no, I started not being able to drink without having allergic reactions, and I was like, they took away my liquid courage.
Do you know what I just learned? And maybe it's not right, so I'll check with you guys that things like alcohol and I think, yeah, I don't know, other things.
Yeah.
Actually, there's GABA, which is
Mhm.
the filter,
Yeah.
and it increases the amount
Right.
of filter.
Right.
So it's not releasing inhibitions.
Correct.
It's actually creating more of a filter so you
Yeah.
feel a little safer.
Yeah. You feel like the smartest person in the room, or yeah.
Maybe just let go a little more
Yeah.
because
Correct.
good.
Wow, I
It's
didn't know
filtered.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that till recently.
You had 2 questions.
That was your question for Jonathan about
Yes.
Reiki.
Reiki. Yeah. I'm all in, by the way. And same as you talk about like placebo, nocebo. My
Yes.
father used to say, everyone ignores placebo. It's real. It's 40%. A lot of medications are only 40% effective. So what's the difference? And no
Wow.
one's looking at it. But that's really interesting to me. So that's why I keep saying, what does it matter what the exchange is?
Right.
Yeah.
And whether, you can just decide, I'm going to eat chocolate because it'll make me happy. Maybe norepinephrine and chocolate, certain neurotransmitters, so you feel better, right? And or you just did it yourself because you made a decision.
And you made the association with that action that's going to cause whatever result that you're looking for.
Right. But what what if it doesn't? Anyway, I don't. Now I don't remember what I was going to ask you. Oh well, sorry,
All right.
Mayim.
You'll have to come back again.
Oh sure, you got another 6 hours by the time I fetch out a sentence. So Mayim, no, my question for you was about. I've heard you talk about Kundalini yoga meditation. It
We've
does
talked about
and
Kundalini
it does affect
rising.
you.
Yeah, I have had some experiences. I'm trying to think who we spoke to. It was
Sue
Sue
Mortimer.
Morter,
Yep.
who talked about being a total materialist. I think this was her story, and a skeptic. Also, Federico Fagin talked about this. That
Okay.
sometimes you are struck by something.
Right.
And the Federico example was he was just like he was in the kitchen in the middle of the night, like
Middle of the
getting a
night.
snack.
Uh-huh.
And all of a sudden was, struck by a light that pierced through his soul and made him feel connected.
all-encompassing love.
Right. So there are poses, postures, breathing, all these things. And this is the Kundalini rising. That's the energy that, certain branches of yoga have described for this place. I've definitely felt things. And the thing with Kundalini, there's a lot of repetitive movements we do. So there's like a lot of somatic stuff that gets kind of activated. There's a pulse that you can start feeling. I mean, to me, it's kind of like it's all the same, right? It's all these different ways to try and get at the same thing, the same like connection with source, or that awe, right? That sense of like,
Yeah.
right? That feeling, that knowing in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, does any of it help? Like, can you use it to sort of, if you're having anxiety over something, can you use it to?
I think breath work of a variety of ways
Yeah.
can be helpful. I think it depends. I mean, and this is one of the reasons also we talk to so many different kinds of experts and people. What works for one person doesn't work for another, right? There's so many different ways to get at that. For some
Yeah.
people, like box breathing is it. For some people, walking meditation is it. For some people, transcendental meditation is it. And like Thomas Campbell, they're like flying in the, stratosphere.
And I think for other people, it's like being able to be reminded that there's some sort of guidance, that we have a purpose here, or that everything isn't random, that just because I experience something challenging doesn't mean that I'll never work again, or my, relationship, I'll never love someone again. Like, I
Yeah.
think that also can, different for each person.
Yeah. The hardest thing, I think, is knowing what's yours to take on and what's not yours. What's somebody else's thing.
I think most people don't know the difference.
You've actually taught me the most about that of anyone.
Oh,
Me?
Yeah.
Why? Because I have so many things that you want to make yours that you know are not yours to fix.
Well, the notion of Al-Anon in the rooms, and that level of like, well, people have chaos in their lives, and you can love them and really care for them and want so much for them, but actually, what is your role in helping them
right.
and being supportive, and what is just going to entangle you into whatever thing that they're in?
Right. That was my first big one. And it was an Al-Anon one time, one person
Wow.
who just
If you
talked about someone.
if your name's not in the sentence, it's not your problem. That's how we say it.
That's interesting.
Like if you say any given problem in a sentence and your name's not in it, it's not your problem. It doesn't mean you don't care about it. It doesn't mean you're not engaged with it or that you can't be loving and supportive.
Right.
But in order to do that, as you said, without it becoming yours. And I've experienced this, as a parent, your children will experience things. And sometimes it's very, very hard to tell the difference between they're upset and you're upset.
Yeah.
Or what is it like to feel empathy, right? For your child, for a friend, for your parent, and not have it consume you, right? It's a huge challenge. And what's interesting is, there's a porousness to our physiology as well, right? When we let things in that are not ours, they can have an impact as well on our immune system, on the way that we heal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, the one where I need it the most is things that make me angry. And if someone, I'm thinking, I really hate being, everyone does, lied to. Everyone hates being manipulated without skill. I don't manipulate me all you want. If I don't know what's happening, then fine with me. Also, talk behind my back all you want, because it's not happening as far as I'm concerned. That's fine. But that stuff, oh boy, that could really get me going. It starts a whole circuit.
What does it look like for you to get angry like that?
Well, it takes different forms, but it a lot of bad language, and then just how dare, wishing them ill, and how do I let them know that that's not, like, how do I slam that shut hard? And that's never the way to deal with any of that. It always has to be, just, it's not yours. It's their thing. They don't mean harm. They're trying to help themselves, and they think they're protecting themselves. They think they're advocating for themselves, and they're not. And so, and that way you can just sort of, got really good for a while, and then, I got knocked off balance, but really good for a while, being able to just say, yeah, okay. Yeah. I can't help you with that, but I understand.
It's a boundary. Yeah. It's an energetic boundary too.
Yeah. It's important.
I have a very hard time with other people being wrong and not like either
being wrong, just factually wrong.
No,
or
well, sometimes, but that's just, I was raised by English teachers. We can't help it. No, but like when
someone,
you know how
to speak really well, so that's good.
No, like if someone believes something that that is not rational, I have a really hard time just letting them believe that. Like I want to fix it and
But
tell
how
them
do
that
you
they're
know
wrong.
what's rational and what isn't after what
That's
we've
my
been talking
point.
about for 12 days just now?
Yeah.
Why are you so happy?
Well, I'm so happy
That
because
someone's acknowledging his point.
I've never seen him happier in his life.
no, I'm
No,
very
but-
happy.
but-
Because there's other information. Sometimes it's like so obvious, but then you're like, well, actually, if you see it from this other angle, it's not obvious at all.
What's wrong, for example? What would be wrong? Although I can think of some things that are wrong, that would be wrong and irrational.
Okay, I'll just give an example. Like, I don't know if this is a good example. If someone's in, an abusive relationship, like a really damaging abusive relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And they, for, their own good reasons, right, don't want to leave.
Right.
And they might say something like, oh, well, I can't leave because I don't think I can afford it. So I'm just going to stay. And my response, if I were allowed to, would be, have you looked into it? There are ways that if you need to escape an abusive relationship that you can get that help. And it's very hard for me to be like, oh, well, that's their path.
Oh,
They're
not
not
for
gonna.
me. That is not hard for me at all. That's their path.
Really?
That is not hard. No.
It's not that you
Because
don't
it
feel
is.
the pain or,
I understand. I
Yeah.
completely understand.
Yeah.
Yes. But I'm not being asked. They're not seeking help to get out of it. They're just saying, basically, here's why I'm still in it. And it doesn't even matter. And here's why. All they're saying is, I'm still in it.
And take people at their word.
Well, yeah. Also, when they're ready, they'll be out of it one way or another. A horrible way or
A healthier way.
a healthier way. And yeah.
It's hard for you to see them actively in it because you know the pain that they're going through
Well,
to be
and
in it.
also I don't like, if there's a reason that they're, making up that is like not true, then yeah, you're right. That's just what they need to say because they're not ready to leave.
They're not ready to leave.
But
Yeah.
sometimes you just can't see that other option.
Right. And sometimes people are asking,
Because, I mean, the only thing I think you could say to me is, oh, did you want to? I wouldn't even go
Right.
there.
Yeah.
You would wait for them to sort of more formally say, do you know of any ways? Because then that indicates that they have a willingness to seek
Is it
alternatives.
Although, that's rationally what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Would be the thing to do. But I know me,
Yeah.
and I know I would say, oh, if you really want to change something, I could tell you a
Yeah.
couple of things that maybe would work for you.
Right.
I mean, that person.
Yeah.
And then I would say, I'm very excited about them. So I'm going to tell you about them anyway, and see if it sparks anything.
Right.
Yeah. So while I'm saying, but I don't get worked up
Right.
over it. Because
Yeah.
it's not mine to get worked
Sure.
up over.
You're very good at solving problems, though.
Me?
Yeah. I bet
Oh,
you are.
well, my brain was made for that.
Yeah.
Puzzles.
I love puzzles.
Me too.
I love a puzzle. Really?
Well, what kind of puzzle? I
Well,
don't like
let's talk
jigsaw
about
puzzles.
it. Oh,
Oh,
for Pete's sake.
God.
What kind of puzzles do you like, if not jigsaw?
You like word puzzles?
I like word
Like
puzzles.
crossword puzzles?
Yeah.
You like
some.
Wordle?
I do.
Okay.
It's all right.
Okay. But
It's good luck.
what?
Lucky.
Okay. But what kind of puzzles do you like then?
I like, I don't know, on my
Oh,
device.
yeah,
puzzles
yeah.
And,
Oh,
and
yeah. Thought
It's-
puzzles?
matching things.
Oh, yeah.
I do like some thought puzzles.
Okay.
And then I don't want to give it too much time.
That's well,
Yeah.
yes, no one should.
Yeah, because I want to relax.
Do you feel like your path was predefined?
Oh, I do. To a degree. Only because of some of the things I told you
Yeah.
that I kind of heard, saw on some level. Even as a kid, I mean, there are things I knew.
Have you ever considered doing any healing arts yourself as a practitioner? Because if you're tuned into receiving this kind of information, I'm curious if it ever occurred to you that that's something you might be able to, channel, for lack of a better word.
It takes so much effort. I mean, I had an experience once with my husband. It's like not remote viewing. I was with him. I decided I'm going to try this. Okay. I didn't. Yeah, of course I didn't tell you that. So, and I haven't done it since because it was so exhausting. But he was in Joshua Tree. I knew he was in Joshua Tree with friends where they were camping, sleeping out under the stars, and taking mushrooms. And I was home, and I take a bath every night. I like being in the water, and it's calming and all of that. And I thought, ooh, this is a good place. Just focus all your attention on being with Michelle. Just be with Michelle.
You were not on mushrooms.
No.
Okay.
Remember me?
Yes, that's right.
Hi,
Okay, sorry.
Too afraid. And really focused my attention and started, oh, okay, I'm with Michelle. I am with Michelle. I'm with Michelle. But am I forcing it? Because I know he's a Joshua Tree, so don't impose. I'm with him. Oh, yeah, this isn't right. And I didn't get it right. He was outside. There was sort of a structure, but he's outside, sort of Adirondack chairs, Joshua Tree camping, and a fire pit. No. Okay. Yeah, I thought okay. So I didn't do it. Got it.
Finish the bath.
He comes home. I said, I actually tried to be with you, but somehow there was a structure. You were at a fire pit on like Adirondack chairs. He said that was not Friday night. We went to a restaurant.
Stop it.
And we were sitting outside on Adirondack chairs at a fire pit smoking cigars.
Wow.
We didn't camp
We didn't camp.
fully. That was one night we treated ourselves. Okay, so I did do it. All right, good to know.
So you have the ability to.
I did it once.
Yeah, but like
That's
I could be in my bedroom tonight and you might be in my bedroom with
No,
me.
but I won't be. I promise you.
I don't
won't be.
believe you.
I promise.
You like me too much.
I do. I'm in awe of you, but I
But
won't.
You
No.
have 100% success rate.
But also that's like, I mean, on the scale when Julia Mossbridge talks about, precognition, when she talks about remote viewing, when she talks about this kind of synchronicity, you had 3 facts. You
3
didn't
facts.
have one.
That's right.
Because if you had said like, Adirondack chair, like you had a structure, like a building.
Yeah.
You had chairs, you had a fire pit, which like people might also say like, well, what are the chances? Like you're camping. Of course there's going to be a fire pit. So that's kind of a common thing. But the
And there was
Adirondack chair.
laughing. There was also laughing. There was also
But the fact that he
like,
wasn't supposed to be in a building.
a number of people around also sitting in them, and there was an extra person, and it was a guy. Yeah. No, there were a lot of things that were right.
New reality show.
No.
Mayim and Lisa learn to become
She's
remote
the one.
viewers.
Mayim and Lisa try to debunk each other. But I mean,
Maybe I want to hang out with Michelle.
but it was exhausting.
Oh.
And
You mean
I
you felt physically like, ooh.
it took a lot. And I'd rather focus my attention on being here.
And I will say that as you do things like that, maybe not going remote in that way, because it sounds like you were traveling, there are ways to do it with less effort and it becomes less exhausting as you sort of lean into it a little bit more.
Did it scare you?
No, not at all.
Because it's a creative imagination. And so I make up what I'm about to say next. Just it sounded like you were like really trying to go there versus kind of going into a state and allowing it to come to you.
Oh, right,
And the going is very taxing, but the
Oh.
coming to you is actually quite pleasant.
right. That's interesting. But you're saying practice it with the
In
intention.
theory, it might not be as exhausting.
I'm
is what he's saying.
gonna suggest a book, which is I have to check the name of the book. I think it's called How to Read the Akashic Records.
Uh-huh.
And when you asked about the readings, finding that place and the access to that is an interesting exercise, because once you know how to access it, you can kind of go and it's like wandering around a little bit. Instead of going, you're just kind of like seeing what presents.
Okay.
So imagine this huge library of information, just like we talked about, that everything exists and it's available. Well, if you go to the place where the information exists and you make it intentional and you kind of open that space, you can kind of stand there and see what is brought forward, and it
Interesting.
just becomes a little bit of a
Why not?
yeah,
Why
a
not?
little curious wandering into the records.
Okay. But have you never had an experience like something you can't explain?
Her house has been haunted.
Oh God, Knuth and the 5-year-old when his
Oh,
2-year-old
yeah.
son.
That-
What the? That what?
Yeah, Henry with his son Henry. That was not. That
Well,
was
Henry just corroborated what he experienced.
correct.
Yeah.
We were talking about when Kevin Knuth saw a man in his child's
Not a
bedroom.
man.
No,
Oh,
it was,
a
It was
child.
an older
It was that's right. It
child.
was sorry. It
It
was,
was
a
like
child.
a
That's right. I'm sorry.
5 or 7-year-old, and his
Right.
son was not that little.
No, and then his son was terrified and said that there was a boy in his room.
And the boy looked terrified.
Yes. Well,
And
there's
that's what
something
plagued him.
happened. Yeah.
And that would
something happened that he could not get out of. I haven't had things like that, I don't think.
You haven't had things like
Like
that.
my mom thinks my dad is a hummingbird. Like, it's
Oh, sure. No, sure.
she's
Yeah.
she's got a whole thing about that.
Something in that vein, though, the Tara Swart episode where
Well, she saw her husband at the foot of her bed after he died.
Oh, right.
and she didn't say it exactly, but she said something to the effect of, I used to be a part of teams who would recommend institutionalizing people who would have
reported that.
claimed to have the experience that I had.
Said it changed. I mean, her whole worldview had to
Yeah.
change.
So, how do we as people both be open to that type of information, but also, as you explained, be here and now and present and available, and not, driving in our cars saying ghosts are guiding me to, the wrong exit.
Yeah, my younger one, we used to joke he sees dead people. He's got some special perceptive abilities, I would say.
But they scare him. They don't scare him.
Well, when he was younger, he
sounds
would say like, yeah, there's a darkness in the house. And I kept buying lights because I thought that's what he meant. But that's not what he meant. There was something that he was, picking up on.
By the way, I also think with children, we throw a lot of symbology at, oh, they said this, they said it wrong, they meant this. What if they knew exactly what they were
Yeah.
and it was the wrong word for a reason?
Mm.
Mm.
And all the things that they invent that we think, oh,
Isn't that cute?
that's so cute. And yeah. I don't know. It makes me like, what if? That would be an interesting experiment to me.
Yeah, that creative imagination is something also that, Jung worked with. And like when people do shadow work and, I've done some hypnosis work where, yeah, you conjure aspects of yourself, different parts of yourself, and you tell stories, right? But nothing's accidental that we say and think. It's all rooted in something that has either truth or resonance.
Yeah.
It's some very, very interesting work can come out of that kind of
But that's why, to
exploration.
me, I don't care whether your father is coming back, not coming back,
As a
but
hummingbird.
represented
Yes.
by a hummingbird for your mom, or
Right.
it's what she's thinking about him, feeling him, and or needing him, and deciding that he's there, and he is there. I mean, what does it matter?
How much happier would people be if more of life was an improv game where we were meeting people where they are, right? Instead of trying to convince someone that the hummingbird isn't the association they made, which just puts
Yeah.
us against each other. What if it's like, I'm going to just put whatever I think down for a minute long enough to
Yes,
enter
and.
Yes, and
enter your world, and maybe I'll walk around that world and I'll make a connection with you, and I'll either agree or I'll go back to my own world, but your world doesn't have to terrorize or invalidate whatever
Right.
world I'm going to go back
Yeah.
to.
yes,
Yeah.
but I feel like that's what all this is right now for me. I am, especially telepathy tapes. It's a big yes and, because it doesn't matter if none of it is real. How's that possible? Then I'll know. I'll find out. We'll all know. But why shut it down? That's the stuff I'm more suspicious of. Why shut it down? What's the problem? What's the problem? What's
Yeah.
at risk? And I have a feeling, I don't go all the way to, deep state doesn't want us to know because it's their domain, and maybe, but there's some like it's institutions that shut it down,
Mhm.
especially academic
Yeah.
institutions. And, I don't know, everyone's so afraid
Yeah.
to be shunned and shut out. And someone brought it up. It was a neuroscientist that I know who had a revelation while meditating, but also, and so everything flipped, but was saying, or someone was saying, I can't remember what it was, like, yeah, but it's, it's a lot of women and older women that are doing this work, and like men too. I said, but it's because once they retire, they are free to say they're not dependent on their job or getting a grant or publishing or
Just like, I'm too old to give a shit.
yeah. So in some ways, you've not had Rupert Sheldrake on, have you?
No,
yet.
not yet. We've talked about him because we talked about him with DT Young, and we talked about him also regarding telepathy tapes because it comes up in one of the episodes with animal communication.
Right. Come on.
I mean,
Come on.
anyone who has had a very deep connection with an animal,
A smart
you
animal,
know
yeah.
there's something going on,
Yes.
especially as they get older, because they're kind of oblivious as puppies and they're just exploring and you can't really get their attention the same way. And as they age, they become more and more attuned to, and like things are just exchanged
Yes.
without any form of communication.
That was one of the things we had Vinny Todd Tolman, one of the NDE experiencers who we had on. He died in the bathroom of a Dairy Queen and watched
Oh.
himself be zipped up.
That's a recent one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
more. Yeah, you
heard
haven't seen that one.
It's an unbelievable episode.
It's an unbelievable episode. But one of the things he said is he always liked animals, but after his NDE, and he was dead for about 2 hours, zipped up
Oh.
in a body bag. And then an EMT literally was like, I think he's not dead, and brought him back. It's a whole thing.
DNT was like, the people in the front were like, don't mess with the body, you're going to get
And the
fired.
EMT
And
was-
he was like, no, something in me is
he's not.
telling me
I
that
want to
this
bring him
guy's
back.
not dead.
Anyway, what Vinny said was that before his NDE, he liked animals, but after his NDE, he came back with a way to communicate. And he was here with our dog, who historically does not do well with men. And the dog went right up to him and looked him in the eye. And he said to the dog, oh, you were hurt. And so you're here to heal people. And I was like, what's happening? He said he just, after his NDE, he came back with an ability to experience their
That's what-
consciousness, their communication.
That's what this dog was communicating.
Yeah. And he was a traumatized dog.
We didn't tell Vinny anything about this dog.
No.
Right.
This dog was tied to a telephone pole in the desert and left for dead.
And abused very
And
badly.
when we got him, he was pulled out of a kill shelter where they spray the concrete floors down every night. He had respiratory problems. He had a big scar across his face. He had been starved.
And he was terrified of men in particular. Anyway, he walked right up to Vinny, and Vinny was like, yes, I see you. It was amazing.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, yes, of course I believe all that. Why not?
All that and more.
But why not?
Yes.
I believe. I mean,
Yeah.
yes. Let's see.
Okay.
Sure.
That's the title of the episode. Let's
Why-
see.
Sure.
Why not? It also makes life a lot more fun, right?
Yeah. Well, look. It's create your own, choose your own adventure. I mean, it's whatever you want.
All right, my real last question for you. Have you been shown what's next for you in a way that
Oh.
you were shown what has already happened?
That I've been shown what's already happened.
Meaning
meaning
when you
like-
were younger, you got intuition.
Oh, when you're on Letterman, don't do that. Have you seen more about what comes next?
Oh, it's glimpses of things that it's like maybe or maybe not is how I feel about it. And then once it comes to pass, I'm like, oh, all right. So I guess that was a thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to seeing what's next.
Everybody has that. I'm not letting you get that clever last line. But I guess everybody has that.
Hmm.
I'm not the only one.
Do you have
You
that?
just don't pay attention.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the not paying attention.
You just don't pay attention.
Yeah, or you're not like tuned into it, or you're too busy with, the things that take up our attention.
When I was little, very little, like I didn't speak really clearly till I was still not 3. And I remember watching people talk, grown-ups, my brother and sister, 6 and 8 years older, and just watching them going, oh my God, you're not even listening to each other. That's not what he meant. And now you're really mad. And oh, this is all getting out of hand just because no one listens. You're not listening. And I just thought, you get dumber as you get older. Like you can't see people's intentions anymore. You get dumb. Lisa, it's going to happen to you too, I guess. I can do. It's going to happen to me too. But just please remember this. Just remember this thought. So I have certain things that just remember this.
Wow.
So I
That's so
remember that.
special. That's so special.
Isn't it?
And that's a very, very powerful realization to have then and now. Because, I mean, I feel like my role here is English to English translation, and yours is to help translate what I'm saying to other people.
Right. But part of it, to me, looking back, feels like, right, because spoken language is so primitive. I mean, it's like fire compared to what communication probably can be.
That's the thing we hear about telepathic communication, and when I've heard or felt like I've received messages from someone else, is that you feel their intentions so much more than what actual language
Yeah,
conveys.
right. Like I could see, oh, I know exactly what you just heard. And that's not what they meant, but wow, you're coming with a whole bunch of like a stack of information that's coloring. And
You know, that's I don't want to call it psychic because psychic has a bad association to it, but it's, what were the four
Yeah,
clairs?
there's clairvoyance is the one that people know, but there's
Clairaudience.
clairaudience, there's claircognizance.
That's
You have a lot of
claircognizance.
claircognizance
Yeah.
is what it's called. This has been an absolutely delightful
I know.
conversation.
I know. I said, I
We're-
know.
She had
like,
pre-planned.
I am delightful.
Me too.
Where can
All
people
3 days of it.
where can people find out all the things about Comeback or anything else you want to direct people to?
The Comeback, all 3 seasons, is on HBO Max or
Amazing.
whatever it's going to be called.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
you. I love your podcast.
Thank you.
Everything I get to hear about on it.
Jonathan, I really didn't know what to expect when we decided to have Lisa on. I had such a wonderful conversation with her, completely off the record, and she really wasn't sure what she would talk about. Turns out she was a fantastic guest and reviewer of some of our favorite episodes, too.
I said to her as she's walking out, hour 3, we're getting more information, unbelievable stories, that what she describes about seeing how people misunderstand each other as adults.
Yeah.
It hit me so hard because I could remember being a kid and looking at people being like, there's such a mismatch. And as we get older, we rely more and more on our rational minds and less on our felt sense. And like when you can't feel someone, all of a sudden there's conflict.
There was actually a lot you have in common with Lisa Kudrow. I think you're from the same village.
Maybe we're cousins.
You probably are cousins. Jonathan, this was really, really terrific. So glad we got to do this episode. It was so special.
We talked to Lisa so long that there's actually bonus material not in either one of the episodes we've released online that you can get only on Substack.
Go to bialikbreakdown.substack.com or just look up Mayim Bialik's Breakdown on Substack. From our breakdown to the one we hope you never have. We'll see you next time.
It's Mayim Bialik's Breakdown. She's gonna break it down for you. She's got a neuroscience PhD or 2. One fiction, one and now she's gonna break down